Welcome to Flourish Friday. I'm so glad you're here. This is our space to slow down, get clear, and pour back into the parts of our business that truly matter. Whether you're building, rebuilding, or leveling up, today is about giving you tools, insight, and confidence to move with intention. So let's breathe, reset, and step into this next season ready to flourish in business and in life. Today, I have with me Amy Williamson from the City of Sacramento, and she's going to talk about this program that we've been pushing. I know you've seen the emails and the um, posts on social media about the Financial Empowerment Center free financial and credit coaching program. Well, in live and in living color, Amy is here to talk about that today. Hi, Amy.
Hey, good morning, Salena.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. We're doing well right now. We're both confident sneezing this morning, but that's just the season we're in. So bear with me if I'm sniffling a little bit. It's funny. I was like doing fine until I signed on, and then suddenly I had like a sneeze attack. Um, but I'm here. I'm good. I'm ready to talk about this stuff because this is the stuff we both care about quite a lot. So.
Awesome. Let's dive in. It's your show.
All right. So, good morning, everyone. So, the reason that I'm here today is the program that I'm managing, and this is through the City of Sacramento. I've been with the City of Sacramento for about 6 years now. And the thing that brought me on from the nonprofit world, because I spent many years here in Sacramento working in the nonprofit sector always on financial opportunity programs. So that's been my passion for a long time, creating pathways for people to work on financial challenges, goals, opportunities that get them to where they're trying to go to be financially healthy now and in the future. So I have a long history of doing that. I've done direct service. I've worked directly with people. And then I worked for the United Way for a long time doing training programs, grant programs, things like that for nonprofits. And then 6 years ago, I joined the city. And the flagship program that we have in financial empowerment at the city is called the Financial Empowerment Center, which Salena mentioned. This is actually a part of a national network of financial empowerment centers that are administered by cities and counties all across the United States. I think there's currently 35 active FECs around the country, so we're very fortunate to have one here in Sacramento. And essentially what they do is provide free financial coaching as a public service. So all of these FECs are public programs. So here it's through the City of Sacramento, but all of them contract with community-based organizations to actually provide the service. So here in Sacramento, since the beginning, since we launched, which we launched right at the beginning of the pandemic in April of 2020, we've worked with the Sacramento Office of International Rescue Committee as our lead partner. And so they are actually the ones that hire the coaches who are doing the work in the community. This year, because we had been working with them for 5 years, our city's best practice is to do a contract request for these relationships after 5 years. So the result of that process earlier this year is that we are still going to work with IRC, but we've brought on a second partner. So the second partner is Health Education Council. They have been around here in Sacramento for 35 years. They started out doing health education, focusing on physical and mental health. But in these last 10, 15 years, they've moved much more toward the full social determinants of health, which includes financial well-being. So, and then they have some other related programs that also contribute to health, because as we all know, your financial well-being is very much connected to your physical and mental well-being as well, and that goes back and forth. So really what we're doing, we're talking about money, when we're talking about business, when we're talking about money, it's important in and of itself for our survival needs, but it also is very impactful for our lives in general. So that's why I really care about this work. So now we have these two partners. Well, actually, so right now IRC is our main partner. Health Education is in the process of hiring some coaches, and they will be active in the new year doing the coaching as well. So what I'm here to talk to you about today is that we have, through our national partner that runs that network of 30 plus FECs, they often have these grant opportunities to connect the financial coaching with other related efforts to see how those things can work together to help people even more. So, for example, in the past, we had a grant from them to work on housing stability. So we were working with partners that we're helping people who were in eviction situations to stabilize that situation and get back into a safe housing situation. And then they were referring those people to us at the financial coaching program so that we could help them build their credit, build their emergency savings, do things that would put them in a better position to have housing stability going forward. And we had some good success with that. So more recently, we received this grant called Small Business Boost that's looking at how can the financial coaching on the personal finance side really help boost the small business support that organizations like Salena's are doing. So the difference is, so Salena is working primarily with you, with folks in the community on, the business planning, business development, all of that piece. So we don't do that at the Financial Empowerment Center, but we all know, of course, that your personal finance, especially with the smaller businesses, is really inseparable in some ways from your business finance, right? So your personal credit, your personal savings, your debt, all of those things, your relationships with financial institutions are very relevant to your business success. So that's where we can really partner together is if you really want to dive into those things one-on-one with a financial coach, that's what we can offer. So all of our services are one-on-one. You're working individually with a financial coach who can help you address these things. These are professional people who have been through training. They have a lot of experience. They've taken exams so that they can work with people not only on these personal finance issues and that they have the expertise and knowledge about these issues, but also they've been trained as coaches. So they know how to be accountability partners for you. So, they will work with you on what you're trying to do. They will work with you to set a plan, and then they will check in with you over time to make sure that you're on track and that they can provide you the support you need to achieve those personal finance goals that will boost your business success. So that's the program that we're collaborating around. So I want to share with you a little bit more about what the financial coaching is. Usually our manager for the financial coaches, Jesus Salas, would be doing this presentation, and this is a slideshow that he put together. He wasn't able to join for this morning, so I'm going to go through this on his behalf. But the key parts of this that I wanted to go through, this first page I kind of already talked about, which is that personal finances are things that affect your business success. Excuse me. So our coaching does provide support around these 4 key areas. Excuse me. Here we go, Salena. It's that season.
You're doing good though.
I know my voice was doing so well up until that moment. Okay, I'm good again. So, accessing safe and affordable banking products. That's an important one I haven't mentioned yet. In that a lot of times for folks who've had challenges with banking before, sometimes they get put on a list where they can't have like regular banking products and they end up working with check cashers and payday lenders that are charging them these really high fees. So people in those situations, we can help them connect with sort of second chance financial accounts that aren't going to be charging them all those excessive fees. But then the key things I think for the business success are really working on credit so that you can access business finance, reducing debt, and building your savings, both for your own emergencies so that when if you do have an emergency come up, you have that savings to draw on so that you don't have to impact your business finance. The coaches can also help you set up systems to differentiate between your personal finance and your business finance so that you can, even though they are related, there's strategies that you can use to keep them separate for various reasons, which it varies by individual. So I would I would defer to the coaches to work with each of you on that. But so this kind of gives you a sense of what the process is. So when you set up an appointment with a financial coach, which you can do using this QR code. And we have several different flyers for the FEC, and we'll be sharing those. And so you'll have access to this QR code later as well. But that's the code that you can use to sign up and request an appointment with a financial coach. And the first appointment does tend to be a little bit longer. It's usually about an hour or 90 minutes, because really the coach is trying to understand where you're at, what you're trying to do to address your personal finance questions, your goals. So they do a really extensive financial health assessment to understand what all of your income and expenses are. They can do a credit report pull at the very beginning. And it's important to note that that is a soft pull, which means that it doesn't affect your credit score. It's not the type of pull that will ding your credit. But that way they have that report so that they can look and see what issues might be holding you back. And then in that first session, they'll also work with you to establish goals for whichever of these areas are the things that you want to work on. So then there is some follow-up if you're looking to apply. What I didn't explain is that IRC also has an institution called the Center for Economic Opportunity, which is a community development financial institution affiliated with the organization through which you can apply for certain types of loans, which we'll see on the next slide. So there is some, if you're interested in that, which is totally voluntary, it's not a requirement of participating in the financial coaching, there is some additional backup that you have to submit for IRC to review that. So here is the information about the types of loans that CEO makes available. I think the best one and the most important one to look at is this credit building ladder on the first line. So for folks who either don't have credit or have had credit challenges and they're trying to rebuild their score higher, they have these loans that have zero interest, which of course is excellent. So you can take out these loans and then make payments on them over 6 months, 8 months, 20 months at 0% interest. And these are being reported to the credit bureaus so that you can get these improvements in your credit score. There are some other ones. Not all of these would necessarily apply, but you can kind of take a look. These do have some interest, but these interest rates tend to be lower than what you'll find, in the regular market for some of these things. Like, for example, a lot of people who have had credit challenges when they go to buy a car, they are able to do that, but they are getting these loans that are very, very high interest, like up to 20% sometimes. So they also, CEO through the Financial Empowerment Center can also make available these auto refinance loans if people are trying to get lower interest rates, which of course saves money on interest over time. This is a little bit more information about the credit builder, which is the most common loan because of course it is the zero interest and it is really helpful with credit building that our FEC clients tend to use. And this just outlines the benefits. So it's showing on-time payments. You'll have loans that are paid in full. No hard inquiries that ding your credit, and you're not going to be paying any fees over that time. I'm going to skip through some of these details about some of the other types of loans because I think, depending on what you're interested in, the financial coach will walk through some of these terms with you, and they might not apply to everyone, but it's just, excuse me, a little bit more detail about some of these that are available. I'm just going to take a quick drink to clear my throat.
Doing good, Amy.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Salena. Thanks for bearing with me for a moment. So this is kind of an example. So IRC works in different regions here in California, and they wanted to feature this individual. Of course, this is particularly relevant to our team here today. So this individual is someone who was a refugee. IRC works a lot with immigrants and refugees. He fled Afghanistan several years ago, had a barbershop there, had to leave that behind. Like all folks who are coming here, lots of challenges with rebuilding. But through IRC was able to connect with the financial coaching support to build credit and savings, getting a loan because, of course, these certification things are much different by country. So you have to kind of start over and go through the education here. And now he owns and operates his own shop in Modesto. So lots of examples like that. So here's the flyer, and we will share and send this out to anyone who's interested. That kind of outlines what we've been talking about today and has the QR code so that you could use that to make an appointment. If you're having trouble with the QR code, that is the ideal way to make the appointment. But if you're having trouble with it, you can call the phone number or email the address that's listed here as well. But if the code works for you, what you'll see is you'll indicate what you're wanting to work on, you'll fill out some personal information, and then it will take you to a scheduling page where you can actually select what coach you want to work with. And then that will take you into their calendar to see when they have appointments available. Right now, I would say there may be a little bit of a wait because we are approaching the holiday season. I do believe that the current coaches may be booked for this month. And then, of course, we've got the holiday time, but there should be some availability, I would think, in January. So I would recommend checking that out now as a way to get started. So that's really the overview of what I wanted to share with you today. So I'll stop sharing.
So I wanted to ask you just from your standpoint, because we have had a lot of conversations and we talk a lot, and
Mm,
I kind of shared
mhm,
with you, um, kind of what I've been hearing, which is that, people are just not wanting to put their business out there or may not be
mm,
trusting of
mm.
systems. So
Yes.
what would you say to that, and how
Mm.
does this program kind of alleviate some of those
Oh,
concerns?
excellent. Thank you for asking that, Leah. So confidentiality is a huge part of what we prioritize with the work that we do. So there's different ways that we do that. So when someone first comes into the program and we do the intake, a part of that is it's called the client service agreement that the organization and the individual sign. And part of that is promising that the coach will not share information outside of so the only people who would ever have access to personal information, personal finance information are the coach themselves and also the manager of the team. Because sometimes, the coaches do have a lot of experience, but the manager is even more experienced. And so sometimes there are challenging cases where sometimes they bring the manager in to help assist with that. But there's not anyone else at the organization or anyone else anywhere that would have access to that information. And that's a promise that's made in the client service agreement. So confidentiality is extremely important. The other thing that I want to say about that is that, even aside from that issue of confidentiality, I know there's a lot of hesitance people have about talking about financial issues with anyone, even the coach directly, because, I think we come from a culture that um, sometimes implies a lot of shame when you've had personal finance
Yeah.
issues. There's this idea like if I've had these challenges, it's my fault. But we really our belief at the FEC is that there are these sort of structural issues in society that make it really hard for people to succeed. And it's very, very common and normal to have these challenges. And so it's essentially like a no shame zone. Like our coaches really come from a place of empathy. They're not there to judge any decisions people have made. They're really there to provide support and encouragement for people to, make changes, do things that they're trying to do for the future. So that's a big part of our ethic, and we talk about that a lot as a team. And so, I know it's still hard for people to take that first step, that first trusting step, but I think you'll find that if you do that, that you'll be pleasantly surprised at the way in which the coaches are interacting around these issues that are challenging.
Awesome.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you one more question, but I think you might have answered it.
Mhm.
And it has to do with, how do we, like, these resources are so important. And, I'm always looking for resources because I think
Mhm.
that, the only way that we can kind of move forward or move in the right direction is that, our community has the resources that everybody else's community has and access.
Mhm.
What other things are you working on
Mhm.
that puts those resources in the
Mhm.
hands of the people that need them?
Okay, that's also a great question. So I think I feel fortunate to be part of a team at the city that is taking that holistic approach because, business support help, personal finance help, those are two pieces of the puzzle, but there's a lot of other things that are necessary for people to thrive. So we have on our economic development team, which is the team that I'm a part of at the city, we also have a person who works on housing policy. So we have a lot of city partnerships that support groups that are working on pathways to housing stability. So if that's also something that business folks are having a challenge with, or lots of other folks in the community as well, we have lots of resources along those lines. And then workforce as well. So I know we're talking about small business here, so I think a lot of the viewers here are probably more on the entrepreneurial side, but maybe some of them, in addition to the business activity, have a regular job or are seeking, other employment to supplement that business income. So we have a lot of workforce partnerships as well. Kevin Daniel is our workforce development manager and is working on lots of those different kinds of things. So we've kind of compiled a list of resources in all of those areas. So small business, workforce, financial empowerment, and then also other social services that can help with various other things. And we actually have a form, if anyone's interested, where you can request that list
Mhm.
to be sent to you if you're looking for resources in these different areas. So that's one thing I will say. The other thing, and Salena, tell me if you've already kind of covered this in other sessions like this, but our small business team in economic development specifically has put together a business solutions center that really dives deep into resources related to small business assistance, and that's something that we can share as well. So have you done a session about that in
Not
particular?
yet.
Okay,
I'm glad you mentioned it.
yeah.
We're coming back around
Okay, perfect.
so we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Lynette Hall
Mm.
because one, I think that's how you and I connected,
Mhm.
but two, Lynette has done some great work in
Mhm.
making sure that not just our community has access, but all communities are having access to these different
Mhm.
resources for small businesses through the, what's it called, the Department of Innovation. I always get it wrong. Innovation and
Yeah,
Economic.
so our whole department, it's a funny structure. It's called Innovation and Economic Development. And Lynette is on the OIED team,
Mhm.
but her job is a little bit different. It actually is somewhat broader than what economic development does, although she does have a passion for economic development. So she,
Yes.
I would say we're her favorite. I don't think she would mind me saying that. And well, she might because she loves all the city departments. But so she, her community engagement team, she's our director of community engagement. So it's her job to work with her team to make sure that people in Sacramento know about everything that the city is doing. So not just in economic development, but citywide. Um, but because she's housed in economic development, there is a close relationship there. So there's two different programs that she and her team and that I help manage, which is the first one is the Community Ambassador Program. So that one is the one where we have stipends that we pay to community leaders. Um, and it's a very diverse group of people, culturally, language-wise, who can make sure that all this city information gets out to all the different communities who can benefit from the information. And then we have a subgroup of that, which is what I help manage, which Salena has participated in the past, called the Economic Mobility Ambassadors. And it's kind of the same idea, except for it's more laser focused on the things I was talking about, small business, workforce, housing stability, financial empowerment. We're providing stipends to people to get the word out about resources and opportunities related to those areas.
Again, two very vital programs in the city of Sacramento. So if you have not heard about these things and you are not connected, Amy, how do people get connected to get this information? I don't know if I get emails all the time, but
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
so
So
how
there's a
do
bunch
people
of
get connected?
links, and I apologize because it's going to take me a second to get those handy. But we can maybe if we put this out, we can kind of share them in the comments because we have
Yeah.
links. We have links about the Business Solutions Center. We have a link through which people can access that list of resources that I mentioned. And then, of course, there's a link to set up the appointment for the financial coaching. Mhm.
Amy, I appreciate you so much for just taking the time to come and let us know about this very important program and how people can get help. I keep one of my mentors said 2025 is a setup for 2026. So if you're
Mm,
trying to do something great in 2026, the time to get started, to start your planning is
mm,
now.
mhm.
And
Very
I
true.
believe if we're looking for funding, we're looking for funding opportunities. All of that is going to start with making sure that, your credit and your finances are together. So I appreciate your conversation today.
Yeah.
Um, and do you have any last words you would like to leave with our audience?
I don't think so. I would just say um, I encourage you to get in touch with your inner bravery because I know this is a hard step to take
Yeah.
to open up to others around the things that you're trying to do. That can be really challenging. So maybe take a deep breath. Like I think Salena talked at the very beginning of this meeting about taking a breath.
Yeah.
Take a breath and just give it a try. I mean, if it's not for you, then that's good. But you may always wonder how it might have helped you if you don't give it a try. So I encourage you to take that step.
Thanks again, everybody, for joining.